about it.
How's it going? Hey, there. No problem, yeah.
One up there underneath the gavel, yeah,
Thank you.
that thing.
That thing,
That
the thing.
tells you how we're.
I'm fried.
It's Thursday.
Yeah.
Too bad it's, could be Friday.
And I know, it should be, traffic today was just wonderful. All right.
Yeah, we're
3
ready.
minutes
Yeah,
to go.
3 whole minutes. You're good.
Whew.
Oh, you got, oh, yeah.
Take a breath even. 6 o'clock straight up. All right, guys. Thanks everybody for coming. It's good to meet you. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Thanks all for coming. Let's see, public forum sign up. Guest book.
Second.
Yeah. We have a lot of people in here. We have one person.
Say
How are
hi.
you?
There's no one, no one's on the, no.
No one on chat, no one there?
No.
Like Very it's good.
summer, we don't really
Yeah,
care about you right now.
exactly.
They cared you.
All right, so I guess we're on to that.
Yes, so we we had scheduled our working session for August 10th with Kristen Miles to come in. If you had had a chance to check your board email address, she had sent you a link for a self-evaluation for the board. But it sounds like that maybe the 10th is not going to be a great date for people anymore.
Oh,
And so I'm wondering if there are some dates like in the next couple of weeks after that you want me to check in with her to see if she's got some availability.
yeah, I'm pretty good every day except for a Tuesday, so that's the only bad day for me.
Both Marias are gonna be gone, so I think we really do need to.
No, on the
reschedule.
10th. Yeah, I'm good
Oh,
on the
okay.
10th. Yeah, I'm good on the 10th.
So
That's Sue's
Tuesdays.
birthday, so probably.
Oh, well, yeah, you don't want to be in the doghouse. So Tuesdays are not good days.
Tuesday's not good for me.
Okay.
At least through September.
So what I'll do is I'll get a list of dates from Kristen where she is available,
Mhm.
and then I will email them to you and I'll text you when I get them, and then you guys can text me or email me and we'll kind of come to a,
Okay.
I'll find out what
Sounds
meeting
good,
dates
yeah.
work then.
Yeah.
Okay. In the meantime, though, if you could take that self-evaluation, she can still use that data and get prepared for that. Yeah.
I
So-
took care of that today.
That is my only announcement for now.
Woo-hoo. All right, people on to, so we talked about the work session, now approval of minutes, yeah.
Maria found something that needed to be changed. It was on page 13 at the adjourning of the regular session.
I saw that.
Okay,
That-
so
It was me that adjourned it. Director Bustamante adjourns regular session at 7:55. Is that what you call?
that's what Maria caught.
Yeah,
Yep.
so that probably, since I wasn't here, I don't think I could have done it.
Yeah. Maybe you're scared.
Yeah, I did it in spirit. You're absolutely right, Sandra.
So we'll just ask for a
Yeah, just,
change
Correct,
in that.
yeah.
And then, was there anybody else that saw anything on those?
I didn't.
No. And that was from regular session. Then I'll just make a motion if you guys are cool. I move that the Jervis District #1 Board of Directors approve the minutes from regular session, June 16th, 2022.
motion. Second. And we have a second. All in favor?
I
Aye.
Very good. So, public forum, I don't need to read this, do I? Or do
No,
I?
because there's nobody here unless.
So, okay.
somebody who's experienced.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, get on to reports. Student council is looking, we had some administrator ones in there, but we don't have anybody here.
No,
right?
they're all still off
Yeah.
contract. so.
Perfect, good. Do we have any comments about that stuff?
No,
Pretty cool what they're doing for the summer school at least. All the different
Sounds like a lot of
programs.
fun.
Yeah, I'm glad.
Yeah.
I do want to go see that new room in a room.
Yes, well, yeah, my wife's room, yeah. So,
I thought that was kind of interesting.
did you say how big it was, by the way?
I know, I was trying to figure that out from the picture.
Didn't know, I didn't. I thought it-
I don't know how big it
You
is.
don't, okay.
So,
It
I
wasn't
mean,
in the,
it's-
it wasn't in the, in
No,
his-
it's
his
not
description.
standing room only. It's bigger than that.
Well,
So
so, yeah,
it-
'cause it's designed to-
it'll
to
be a
dis-
space
dis-
yet, de-escalate,
like,
kind of calm
yeah,
down.
yes.
So,
Instead of going into hallways.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Karen, did you have something for us?
Karen
Always.
does.
The hot seats. Which is off. I like that.
No, it will circle back around to you.
Oh.
No, it follows the voice.
No getting out of that.
Ah, there you are, on camera
Okay.
now.
Well, on my business manager report, I went over the ending fund balance graph on there, just showing that we're kind of in line with what I anticipate we're gonna end at still. And there was something I wanted to point out, the budget summary, all funds. Now that is on page 28. And so
29 minutes? This chart here?
page 28, no, it's that little black and white.
Oh, it's this one,
Yeah,
with all the
that
little
that
numbers,
one
all the
that's
little numbers.
The little one. It didn't turn the right way when I printed it out. So what I gave you on your, around your seat somewhere, is this little entry board, is what I would call it. So this is our new bond, our 2021. You know, basically, it took me until the beginning of June to get this thing entered in our system, because I didn't know what we were seeing with US Bank wasn't matching what I showed. And so the auditor sat down and we spent about an hour on it and worked through what it should be. And so this is our entry. And so I want to put that entry to this budget summary, all funds, because what you see happening if you go to the third column over year to date, under income, down to other, this has grown significantly from the last
Oh.
time. Yeah, 9 million.
Yeah.
It was actually 5,574,000 the last time I printed this report for you. The difference there, it's attributed to 3,985,000, which is highlighted in yellow on this graph, which is entry of the bond proceeds from the sale of the bond. So when we put it out to the
For
bond
sale.
sale world and they
Yeah.
bought it, this is that being reflected in it. Now, this particular budget summary report, I didn't realize it till I was trying to figure out why this doesn't look quite right. It is not a report I could change. It's a report that we have to have either the ESD or Tyler change for us. But whenever they set it up, they didn't include some of these new codes like the 314-5110 or 5400. They're new to us because I guess when we did our bond before, we entered it some other way, but this is the way it's supposed to be entered. And so the green on this other sheet is not yet reflected in debt service under expenses in the debt service column. If it was, then you would see that number would be up to $4,567,833.50. So I will get that report fixed before we finish out the year. So we're looking all flush in there.
Okay.
But I just wanted to point that out to you and point out, as you can see on our entry for the bond, that everything balances to a zero. And basically what happens is we get invisible money, we sold the bond. And then the bond goes out to PERS, which is the PERS UAL payment, the 3,904,000. So they're using it and now they invest it. And those proceeds from their investment is what offsets our bill that we pay PERS every month. And so actually twice a month we pay them. So that is kind of the whole action going on. You see kind of the cost of issuance, underwriters, discount items, and this little additional proceeds. And that additional proceeds had to sit there because the first payment is going to happen And it would be short $4,000 if we didn't have that sitting in there. So it was all part of the bond. It's all in backup bond paperwork too, if you ever want to see that, how it matches up exactly with those numbers. Although they were kind of hard to get at. But anyway, I'm grateful that this entry is done. And I will get this report fixed so you can see it a little bit today. It's supposed to be reflected.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Sure, and that was really, right now, we're still looking at the end of the year. We're still working through, straggling bills coming in. And so I'll start reporting on July next month. And then when we get a little closer to the final, audit, I'll show you again where we are for last fiscal year. So were there any questions? All right.
Thank you.
Sure.
Okay, for my report, I will be going into greater detail about the bond information, the strategic plan in both action and discussion items. But did you have any questions about the summer work or what I'm planning for the administrative team? Anything else?
And I'm sorry, when do they come back?
Some of them are back next week and then everybody's back on the 1st.
Oh, wow. Good.
So summer's over too for them.
All right. Board focus, anything else?
Oh,
I do want to ask a question. Go ahead.
okay. I was just gonna say, maybe we should touch base on who is going to go to the city council meeting
When,
to the next, it's
that's, the second, it's the first Thursday
of every
of
month.
every month.
So
Mhm.
what day is that? Yes, we will, yes, I'll be there.
I will be there. I will be addressing the council. And then, so that people don't tune me out, and since it's only 3 minutes, Maria will go.
Has a little bit of signs for you and things like that.
I'll be like, next, this is you. So then she'll take part of basically what I wrote, but I want to share it with the board before and we're all on board for that.
I think actually Susie was able to get you on the agenda,
Oh, she did? Oh, okay.
so you don't have to be limited to your.
Oh, cool. Okay, then that's, okay. Because I read.
I will confirm that tomorrow with Susie, but the email I got recently said that there had been, you were on the agenda.
That's cool.
So
Okay.
then we can find out when that is.
Yeah, and
The whole
so
part.
I just finished writing, and so I just printed off for a second, gave it to Dandy so she can look at it. So that's rough draft. And then she and I can kind of, the three of us can work on it, and then I'll send it to the rest of the board members.
So I double checked with Krista Miles, so only 2 of you can actually go and participate in the discussion without it becoming a
Yeah.
quorum issue.
So.
You can
Can
attend,
we attend? That's my question.
Attend.
Okay.
but the
Don't
rest
type
of you can't.
I can't say.
don't say anything.
But it's on Zoom, yeah. Sure.
It is on Zoom each one. So I will be watching it via Zoom and participating that way if you need anything from me, because I will be in Eugene with the administrators at our COSA conference that night,
Okay.
or that day. We're there from Tuesday through Friday. So
I don't think I have an issue with the 4th, so I don't see anything on my calendar, so I should be able to go for an hour or whatever it is, hour or 2.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
gonna just,
so,
yeah, that was fourth. I double checked. This is terrible. Elena, we have 40 on there. We need to change that. We have the girls. Michelle, we need to unite.
Oh,
Yeah,
again.
that, yeah. Okay. so
I
we'll
told you,
just-
it's like
we'll
the big,
We'll make it.
yeah,
Cancel that.
send an email. So I
That's all I
will
had.
I'll email Susie for us tomorrow to confirm.
Perfect.
Okay.
Anything on the Kramer little thing at your
Oh.
house? How'd that go?
Yeah, okay, so I had maybe, I want to say like 15 people. So Tracy Kramer's campaign manager contacted me, asked me if I would do a meet and greet. So I did.
Hmm.
And they came out, her assistant, and then some city council members and some other interested parties.
Nice.
Mariah's mom, like a bunch of, different people. And she actually was able to get 2 people that would help her do some translation and just kind of like walk downtown. We kind of figured out what her district is because they did the redistricting line. So I wasn't aware, like she has a bunch of like rural area from like Kaiser and Salem and stuff like that. She went to school here.
Yep.
And she remembers freezing her little behind off 30 years ago in the building.
Yep.
And so I found that she's like, yeah, it was.
Did you remind her it's the same,
Yes,
same
I
system
did.
that we have in there?
I did. I reminded her that our facilities are still that old. They were back in
They were old then,
then,
and
and
they're old now.
pretty much nothing's been done. So she's well aware of that. It was a really good meeting.
Yep.
Yeah, so
Did she sound that she would commit to helping us?
as
on
a
the bond?
politician, they never say yes or no because that's just politicians. But
What was your sense of
my sense was that she absolutely understands the need for
Alright.
an upgrade on our facilities,
it? Well,
especially having been a student and been here
Yeah.
all that time.
Very good.
Yeah,
Very
so.
good. All right. Anything else?
Well, I think it went well too. I mean, and the fact is that I've pointed out multiple times that the bond, you can go online and you can see exactly where all the expenses are at. So,
Yes.
I mean, and that's very important. If you have concerns that money is not being spent correctly,
Right.
I have encouraged.
And maybe that's something that we need to put out there more,
Yes.
just so folks can understand that, because there were some crazy things that were being said about where money was going to be going to
Exactly.
and things there.
And
And so,
There was 9 videos on the website. There was door-to-door knocking.
I know, but somehow people get it in their minds. I'm not sure how. That's something we as the board here have to educate and say, well, right here it is. And I mean, I think that's really important. Sometimes it means just going step by step to where
yeah,
it is.
just kind of line item everything.
Exactly.
So-
And it's all right there. So I think that's really important.
Yeah.
And to keep reminding people that every line item, all the stuff, how much it's gonna cost, what it's costing is right there.
That's where the money's going to be spent. So,
Exactly.
yeah.
I think one of the most important things, and I think that comes out later, is like, there seemed to be a really strong consensus that instead of updating the buildings, that they wanted to start fresh.
Oh, yeah.
And for the same amount you were asking. And then it was, well, this place in Tualatin or whatever did it for this amount or whatever. But what's not being considered, and this is something that I asked Andy about, there's demolition to that building. It's one building, not 3 buildings. It's one. There's demolition, there's land costs, there's all kinds of other things that people don't think about when you're kind of comparing things, and that's apples and oranges, man. And it's those little tidbits that people don't think about or aren't aware of because they're not in the process.
Sure.
So we need to make sure that we bring those kinds of things up
Mhm.
when we discuss it.
Yep. No,
Yeah.
I agree. I thought we were pretty transparent last
I-
time too, but
I-
we weren't enough.
Feel that this board and this school has been extremely transparent.
No, I think that is one thing about us in general. I mean, the curriculum is all out there. I mean, there is nothing here that is from that aspect. If you want to know what's
There's
being
not.
taught, it's right there.
Go
I mean,
online,
Go online.
Yep.
look at it.
Exactly. No, I agree 100%. So,
The administration is responsive. Dandy's available.
Mhm.
They are willing to address any of the issues that come up.
Yeah.
So all it is, reaching out,
Yeah.
if that's the concern, but
people just need to say something out loud.
Yes.
If it seems like they keep it inside and then they,
yeah.
anyway. So
So I would
Okay.
really like to see all of the crazy social media stuff just stop.
maybe we could stop it just for election.
So
Make a
anyway,
law.
yeah,
It's all good.
All right, very good. All right, on the consent. We have a humongous list.
The one thing I did want to point out, just before you kind of get into the other pieces of the consent agenda, is that there are your guidelines. And I had Sandra print off a copy of it. 'Cause it's
Yes.
listed as your 7.6 item on the consent agenda. It's on page 37 of your packet. And remember, that was just this board guideline is just the outline of what your board meeting looks like. And so we just wanted to make sure that you know that you have the flexibility to be able to change the order of your meeting if you wanted to, but this is what's kind of been happening apparently for years here, so.
I do like the 4 hour limit.
By all
Oh.
means. We had
Before,
to, yeah.
it was past 4
Yeah,
hours.
sometimes you got a little crazy.
Let's not,
That's not happening for a while, so.
sorry.
Not doing that. So consent. So do I go all the way down to 7.6? I don't have to, right? I don't. I go to
No, you just
7.5.
read the whole,
Read
you
the
can
whole
just
thing
read
on
the
the top.
motion. And you don't have to list 7.1, 7.8, you can just say the top of it.
Okay, yeah. I move that the Jervis District Number 1 Board of Directors approve the consent items as listed in mass.
Got a motion?
Second.
We have a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Does that move this to action?
On the action items. And will, if everybody's okay with that. So, and how about you?
Anybody is free to take the vice chair spot. Maria's, if you would like.
Brianna, thanks. You did a good job. You're doing a great job.
And Gigi.
Let's
They're in it, though.
Can we do that to the poor lady?
What happens when you just show up?
You're on page 38 and 39.
Then,
And you have a nomination.
Yeah. I nominate Henry Bustamante for board chair.
Second.
We have a motion.
So I have a motion, the Jervis School District Number 1 Board of Directors moves to elect Henry Bustamante as the 2022-2023 school board chair.
All in favor? All in favor?
I
All right. Great, good, fun. You're ready to nominate.
Nominate the Jervis School District Number 1 Board of Directors moves to elect.
We have to
Oh,
nominate
I'm
first.
sorry. I nominated Anna for.
I nominate Maria back. So.
Hey, you do a good job.
Okay. Are you okay with that?
Yeah.
Okay, very good. So now I need the motion.
Second.
This second, sorry.
Second.
All right, I thought I second.
You're all good.
Thank
Okay,
you.
Jervis School District Board of Directors moves to elect Anna Contreras as the 2022 to 2023 School Board Vice Chair.
Have a motion, second,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, very good. That George done. Acceptance of results of the bond.
So these are the official election results from Marion County. When we get into the discussion items, we'll talk more about what the data is that you see here. And I have some other data that I put at your chair.
We have to, accept.
Well, there are other options, I guess. It's not working out for certain people who tried that a few years ago, but
All right. All right, so we just need a motion there. That's on page 40. Right?
I move that the Jervis School District #1 Board of Directors has reviewed the abstract of votes for May 17th, 2022 primary election and accepts the election results as shown on the agenda.
Motion second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, now we're going on to, what's the next one? 2 years strategic plan.
So at the very back of your packet is the draft goals that the committee crafted. Again, the committee worked with Jerry Colonna, and there were probably 18 or 19 of us that worked on these goals. We did that after we looked at the strategic plan year one. And we looked at the goals for year one, saw how much we accomplished, what we maybe needed to use to further measure the goals, or what strategies we should go to next to enhance the goal. And that's what you see before you now. So there are, again, 4 goals. They all are, they're the same goals. The strategies have just changed, or the performance indicators have changed. And then some of the people responsible have changed as well, because we have Dusty Price is new, Creighton is in a new position. And then Tony Johnson, your middle school principal, is new. And so, we're continuing along with the social emotional growth and support for our kids, and really grounding that in data and the collection of data to analyze what is it that our students need. We'll be continuing with the monthly celebrations or recognition. So for instance, Women in Mathematics, Black History Month.
Maybe get back to the Kiwanis thing.
Yeah, we'll
So,
get getting back to those kinds of
Because
things.
that should start meeting back
Yes.
again.
Mhm. And then the second goal, we have that wonderful resolution that the board adopted. So that's really kind of become the foundational piece. I will include that resolution in our new copy of the strategic plan. And that it's grounded in, the academic access and inclusivity for all kids as they pursue their education here. And so now that the resolution is adopted, we really need to create this equity lens, which means that every time you have an administrator or a committee or a department chair or a classroom teacher adopt something or implement something, they're asking the questions: what are the unintended consequences of this? Who does it impact? How can we alleviate that? Who do we need to bring on board? So that we're not just making good decisions, but then not recognizing that the unintended consequences need to be addressed. And then goal 3, we continue working on the district curriculum. So Bonnie has done a fabulous job of getting that work moving forward. Teachers are continuing that work this summer. So I have Bonnie, Tony Johnson, and myself in charge of that. And really, our early release Wednesdays will really be focused on looking at the new curriculum that the board has adopted and purchased to the tune of almost $600,000 over the last 3 years. And what data are we able to gather in terms of what students are doing? The big push for this year, now that we're not in crisis mode and responding to COVID all the time, is really about academic achievement in reading and exiting our ELD kids from the ELD program. Because if they're in there for more than 4 years, they tend to never exit, which completely limits their options once they get into high school or graduate. And so really, every meeting, I want to be having the conversation with you about academic performance and achievement of our students and what that looks like for each student.
So when you said that if they don't basically graduate out of there in those 4 years, how often has that happened here at our school?
I can't give you the percentage. It's a high percentage.
It is. Okay.
So I have a presentation slated for you at your August regular session from Raul Gomez, who works in the ELD program. And Creighton, Dr. Helms will be presenting to you that part of our hard focus and commitment to getting our kids out of ELD. The other piece I asked Raul to research, because when he gave me the information the data this spring, I said, how many of those kids that are still in ELD did not necessarily start with us? Right, because if they didn't start with us, but they've been in ELD the entire time and now they're eighth graders, like, the likelihood that we're going to be able to get them to exit is, really small. But if they start with us in pre-K or kindergarten, the goal is that by the time they're leaving fourth grade, they're out. Because once you're out, and then you stay in monitor status, and then it's good. And so our kids seem to be struggling the most in their oral fluency, meaning being able to speak academic language, engage in discussions. So when they take that test and they have to speak into the microphone, it gets recorded, they don't do very well. And so the whole focus is in every content area, in every class, engaging students so that they are speaking to each other, they're speaking to teachers, and really focusing on that, as well as elementary reading. And we've hired a TOSA to help with that. So that's like really what you're going to see in this next year is the full-on commitment to that.
Is it at that point, then is it gonna be, as far as, because of COVID and things, we haven't been able to see any of that where it shows all our kids where they're sitting at grade level for reading and.
Right.
math.
The data is all over the place. It's
Right.
really hard to know for sure. And so we've also adopted iReady, which you'll see
That's
it's
the one I
in,
want to say, is I read it, because that's the one that
Yes.
you can see all the stuff. from them
Yes.
and things there.
Performance Indicator 3C talks about a K-12 assessment system, which we have not had in the district. The middle school has been using iReady off and on multiple years. I think Anna Connell started that. But we now have it K-12. And the expectation is that teachers will be on a regular cycle giving those assessments so that we have the data to be able to track them, the kids, and then make adjustments to instruction. But at the same time, it will track kids each year. So you'll be able to do the year-to-year comparisons about them.
That was the whole goal.
Yes.
For that.
Yeah.
There. So
Yeah.
we won't see that data until next year, though.
Well, you'll be able to see some of that data this year because we have,
But it'll be a little skewed.
it'll be a little skewed, but for the middle school kids, because they used it this last year, you'll have a couple
I
years.
guess, yeah,
data.
that's true.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Okay, so that's goal 3. And then goal 4 is one that is familiar that has in relation to our facilities and the idea of a bond. If the board decides that's the direction they want to go. And the individuals responsible for that are myself and the board. So we will continue from there.
Yes.
What will happen is that if you approve these goals, or the goals and then the performance indicators with them, I'm in the process of crafting an updated letter welcoming people to the strategic plan and the purpose of it and how we're in year 2. It'll also, like I said, include your resolution on inclusion. And then there's a couple of things that we have to tweak in terms of dates, things like that, because it refers to 2021 and things like that. We'll update the pictures. And then the goal is that it will be printed and available for you at the August board meeting, hopefully, but for sure by when staff come back the first day, because we want this is part of our in-service, that they know what our plan is.
Staff, when do they come back?
Staff's first day back is, the new ones are the
29th.
29th. Everyone's back on the 30th,
Oh.
August 30th.
Yeah.
Did that inclusion, the resolution, was that on the equity lens?
It was a resolution about inclusivity and opportunities for all. And so we're going to use that resolution
Okay.
to craft the equity lens.
Okay, so that's not. that.
It's,
Okay,
yeah, no, it's not.
That's,
Yeah.
I was like, I don't remember.
That committee did not get as far as we were hoping last year, just because it was
I got you.
it was a lot.
Yeah, it's a hard one.
topic.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
so I was happy that we were able to get the goals edited and the performance indicators edited and the grammar and everything correct. So if you're happy with it, then you guys are able to take action on it and you can then move forward.
I wish Angie had let us know if she felt like she had anything that she wanted to change or discussion on this, but I think I'm okay with it.
I'm fine with it.
Okay.
So what I didn't tell you.
That's why I was itchy.
I move that the Jervis School District #1 Board of Directors approves the year 2 strategic plan shown on agenda item 722-8.4.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right. All right, so discussion items, superintendent goals. Superintendent goals.
So at your seat, I stapled together both your goals, which has the green box on it, and then what were my goals for last year. And so I had, the goal was to give this to you so that then at the work session, after you had heard feedback on what your self-evaluation was as a board, you could then look at that and then look at the goals for both yourself and myself. And then we could kind of craft those and finalize them in September. So I mean, I'm not expecting anything tonight other than just put this in front of you and familiarize yourself again with what you had wanted to do. And I think that you know, number one, we've got the resolution. So you did that. We just did it in a different, we're calling it something different instead of the lens policy and tool. And you can, the other pieces that, you know, you have the grants from, or the scholarship from OSBA. And so we can look at what our application said, and I would recommend that that be one of your goals as well, to completing the tasks listed in the application.
Oh.
So I'll bring that to the work session whenever we decide to have that. And then it's, you know, it would be fine for you to have 3 or 4 goals because like one of them, I would assume will still be around the bond and facilities. And so.
Yep.
And I think my goal will just be one, that this will be doing everything that you tell me to do.
Cool. And
So,
the goal 3 of the district strategic plan was linked preschool to 12th grade
Yep.
curriculum. And we pretty much achieved that
Yep.
one, didn't we?
yes, we have. Mhm,
Woo-hoo,
Yeah,
we got our
for
goal.
sure. Yeah, so,
That one was a big one, I think.
yeah, I think it's definitely the foundation for being able to move kids forward and where they
Yeah.
need to be and where we want them to be.
Where help teachers kind of help them.
Yes.
Where they're, as you see kids, what they need and see how they, anyway, yes.
I think, as I think back in the last 3 years about how we've operated, you know, part of it is because we were in crisis. You know, just responding to the moment in time. And so you lose sight of the bigger picture often because you have to just be in survival mode. And so that's why when I talked with administrators and staff about what we need to do moving forward, I mean, like in reality, I only have 4 years left. This is I'm on my countdown. I'm headed to the big retirement. And when I think about what we need to accomplish in terms of academic achievement and opportunities for our kids, like that means we need to be having those conversations here at the board level so that we're creating systems that are sustainable and moving forward. Because it's gonna go like that. So. Okay. So as you read through this, if you have some other thoughts, like throw them my way and then I'll collect them for you guys and bring them whenever we have the work session. Okay.
Bond.
The bond, yes. So part of my task has been doing some information gathering about, first of all, polling. You know, what are our options to gauge how did the community feel about the proposals, the information, the why behind how they voted, if they didn't vote, etc. So we have a survey that's going to be released tomorrow.
Actually, tonight.
Tonight.
In a few minutes. I think I said it for 7.
Woo, how exciting. So it's a survey, it's electronic. We'll get that out first and start collecting that information. So not only is it going to, you know, parents, but then the hope is that people will start sharing it. It'll go on the district Facebook page. I've approached a couple of community people about their community pages, asking them to just publish the link, but turn off the comments, because I don't want to start the whole Facebook
Yes.
thing.
Okay.
I just want people to take
Take
the
it.
survey
Yep.
and give all your feedback in the survey that they have their unlimited amounts of ability to give feedback
Give
on that.
comments and things,
So, so there'll be that piece. And then, I have a conversation next Thursday with a different polling company. So, the polling companies, the problem is that they're very expensive. So we got one quote, for 300 guaranteed responses in either English or Spanish. So they just keep calling until they get 300 different households to take this 60-minute survey over the phone. That's going to cost us $24,000. And the problem with polling is that then the minute you do anything that changes people's opinions, or that could change people's opinions, your polling information is no longer valid, right? So, I'm not thinking $24,000 is probably the way we're going to go on that. But the conversation I have with the person next week, he's willing to tailor things a little bit for our district, and recognizing that we're smaller, and maybe doing some more targeted engagement pieces that would be at a much cheaper rate than that. So we'll wait and see what he has to say. I also included for you in this at your seat was the Marion County precincts and school zones. So it's a little colored map. It might be a little bit hard to read. I will also send you the link in your emails. So if you just wanted to be able to pull it up on your computer. But basically, you'll see that there are circled precincts there, or numbers that I've written in, because like at the top, number 593 is so small, it doesn't even show up on this. But these are the precincts where our voters live. And so if you look at so that's just geographically trying to decide, okay, well, where do we fit in? Who are geographically, where are these people? So if you go back to the certified results that you just looked at on page, if you go to page 43 of your packet, there's actually not a page number on it there, but there is a 42. And so you'll see like precinct number 545, that's in town. Okay. And so what this tells you is that there were 219 people that voted yes for the bond. There were 173 people that voted no. So a total of 392 people cast a vote. There were 18 undervotes, meaning those 18 people turned in their ballot and voted for some other thing on the ballot, but they did not vote yes or no on the bond. So a total of 410 people returned a ballot. And in town, there are 1,361 registered people. So in town, you had a small percentage of your people actually vote. And then as you go through the rest of the precincts, so in town, in precinct 545, the yes votes won. So if we were only going on in town, we would have won. Or if you go down to precinct number 584, where one person voted and they voted yes, we won that precinct as well. So you don't need to do any campaigning there. 582. And that's why on the computer, you're able to enlarge it. You can actually see streets and boundaries and things like that. But here's what's interesting about these precincts that voted. So the only one, also precinct 593, they had a total of 14 people came out to vote. 7 voted yes, 7 voted no. There's a total of 54 registered voters in that precinct.
Oh,
Okay, but so,
oh, and they're over here on the registered voters on that right-hand side.
but really we need to focus our attention
Yes.
on like 592,
Yes.
577.
Yes. And so that's the thing, is like that it doesn't, it's not going to do you any good to go into a precinct where there's only, 35 registered voters.
Yeah.
Like they're not the ones making the difference, because here's the other piece that's interesting. If you look at the other precincts, when, that vote, so we had 53% of our voters that voted in town voted yes. Okay, so of the 410, or excuse me, of the 392, 219 voted yes, and that's 53% of the vote. Every place else, the yes vote was at 39% or less. And so and in every other precinct, you had pretty close to anywhere between 48, 49, 51% of the vote came out. So we only had 30% of the vote come out in the city. If you could get to that 48% or 50% in city, you win. So at least now we've got this precinct information. I believe, I was going to email Sandra before we came to the meeting. I believe that we can find out the mailing addresses in this precinct. I think we can look at the boundary and she can, through this register we have, but we can then target these precincts and start, we can do the polling ourselves. Right?
Yeah.
And so I think that's some good data to have.
That's really good.
And then the second page of this handout that I gave you, so this gives you the precinct. So again, remember 545 is in town. And these numbers are a bit different on who all voted because this is coming from OEA, our union. And so they say that in precinct 545, 393 people voted. They're not counting the undervotes, but they break it down by age. So if you look at from 50 to 65, you have 194 people that voted no. And from 18 to 49, you have just, what is that? 100 or around 200 that voted yes. So if you look at, say, look at precinct 582, you have 92 people ages 50 to 64 that voted no, and 164 people ages 65 and above that voted no. So it would be interesting to then break down those precincts to dig into further data to see how many registered voters ages 18 to 49 didn't vote.
Guarantee you there was a lot.
Yeah.
Because I started telling Isabel's little friends.
Yeah.
You need to get out there and register. And they all are registered now. I was like, get yourself ready.
So the good thing also that I learned is that the district is able to say why you should vote yes until you vote to put a bond on the ballot. And then we register it with Marion County. The deadline for that is February 13th. So that gives us a lot of time to say why you should vote yes. So we're
Oh.
gonna,
Start targeting things right now.
we'll do it a lot, yes.
Or-
I mean,
sure, I
we've
should say.
learned many things. So there's that. So here's the other piece that I wanted to share with you. So as I was listening to all of this negativity about why we can't afford a bond and, this is a bad deal and we have a lot of people on fixed incomes, which I'm not saying is not true. Like I don't want to discount any of that. People's finances are, really important to them and I can appreciate that. I started to think about like, how could we speak to those people? Because they're saying, I can't afford my property taxes to go up.
It's not gonna go.
I can't afford the bond and the property taxes. Okay. So I came up with this crazy idea that I didn't even know if it was legal. And so I've been talking with our attorneys and it appears that it is totally fine. And we would be like one of the first to do something like this. So in my mind, we rent our facilities out and we get money for that. And that is our ice cream money, right? Because we never know how much money we're really going to generate when the dog people come in and do their trainings, or when the circus comes to town, or we have the Polynesians had their celebration Memorial Weekend, right? And so my thought was, we take that money that that comes in from renting the facilities, not from youth sports, not from, not off the backs of our children, but those kinds of outside events. And the board will designate, and we'd have to do some research. Okay, the first $9,000 that you get from that is going to go into a fund. And then, because we've passed the bond now, right? And so we have people who say, I cannot afford the increase in my property taxes because of the bond, because I'm on a fixed income. These are my expenses. This is my, and so you're going to come up with some kind of criteria. It's either like what we use to qualify for free lunch or some other measure. And we would have to get all of this hammered out. And so then people who fall under that would provide this a committee, which would include an attorney, some business people, a representative from the board, myself, business manager, a diverse community. I'm going to apply for relief from the increase of my property taxes to the bond. My property taxes went up a total of $197 because of the bond. Here's my proof of income. Here's my proof of qualifying for disability benefits. Here's my proof of I'm a renter and my landlord increased my property tax or my rent because of the property taxes. This is how much they did it by. And so then you could say, if we have enough money, we will fully cover everybody's increase due to the property taxes. Because if you really look at it, like you said, it's like nothing. It's like $120 a year, $280 a year. Or you could say up to a certain percentage. I don't know what that looks like. But then nobody can argue who is a senior citizen on fixed income, on disability, is at the poverty level, or whatever measures that you're interested in looking at, that they can't afford the bond because their property taxes have gone up, because we've just given them the money.
And argue with that.
Very
Very strategic.
very ingenious in that.
Yes, it
on
was.
that money.
I don't remember if it was in here, I think in our packet, right, where you have that proposal with the.
Well, I think you and I had talked
Or
about
maybe
it
it was-
before.
okay.
Yeah.
Because I think it's fantastic.
Well, it's-
And I think
Well,
that
we're
you
on the
were
up and
really
up and-
thinking outside the box, which I love.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. Absolutely
Great,
thinking
yeah.
outside.
But that's
good.
exactly what.
But those are the kind of
we need.
solutions we need in order to come together, right? I mean,
Yeah.
because that totally helps the,
It makes
Yeah.
everybody who had that objective, why they couldn't afford it, because
And the other piece, there were several people that were impacted by their landlords telling them,
Yep.
oh, we're going to raise your rent $100 a month, which first is not legal. That's voter intimidation.
Oh.
And
I see.
secondly, you can't even say, I'm going to raise your rent by X number of dollars. You're required to say, well, if that passes, I'll be required to assess how much that's impacted the property and then
Sure.
proportionally divide that up amongst all of my renters. But then it also gives the renters the ability to say, well, okay, whatever you raise my rent by, that's due to the property tax increase, I can apply for money and I can get you the $45 or, whatever it is. So, obviously there's a lot of details to be worked out, but I didn't want to continue on this thought without your saying, yes, continue.
You have my blessings.
Yeah, I mean, when I look here at the 65 plus
Yeah.
and having, my mom be 78
and on a fixed income.
and on a very fixed
Yes.
income. I absolutely understand and sympathize,
Sure.
you know,
All me.
and also we are in a
We're renters.
very much underserved community here.
Mhm.
We are disenfranchised, and one of the huge problems here is our lack of resources, and it is financial.
100%.
So this is a great alternative, and I love it.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a lot of work, I could tell, but
I think if we
worth
set it
it.
up, we'll have to set it up at the beginning. Like, I don't know if it'll be a trust. I'm not sure what the attorney is
that-
gonna recommend on how that looks, but then you'll have your committee of objective people. I mean, it's very clear. They have to have a copy of the property tax statement from Marion County and their taxes filed from the previous year. And, so logistics, it'll be, there'll be some time intense to start with, but I think that I think it's got some interesting
think
possibilities.
so.
Very viable solution. I think it's great.
Okay, so let's see, I think that is all I have right now on the bond update. Did you have any other questions or wonders for me about the update on the bond itself? The,
Mm-mm.
no.
But I like this. Did I get you? No, you know,
Yeah, maybe one was out for Andy.
Okay, oh, and then the only other thing I had is the working session. We've already kind of talked about that, so I'll get back to you on that.
Yeah, that working session, I'd love all of us to be there.
I think we're done.
Shortest one so far.
We're adjourned. Thank you very much, everybody.
Yes, yes.
Good job tonight.